Hi, this is Nancy Love, live from Southern California. This project. This is a second part of the um, studies in honor, and I want to say a few more things about parenting. Just a few minutes ago, I posted a live video that had to do with parenting and how parenting is not something that automatically ascribes to an individual. That everybody that's biological is probably capable of replicating at some point, and replication is not a way of getting honor in the world. You absolutely have to earn honor. Honor is something that is achieved, not ascribed, and honor is gained through right action, right wisdom, right knowledge, especially right action. Now, I mentioned people who use their children in a variety of ways, from psychological to physical, sexual assault, and even selling offspring into slavery. And if you're in America, you probably don't think this happens here, but it does. And it does happen in other countries, in what we call third world countries, more often than you would think. But there are a couple of types of parenting that has no honor, none whatsoever. One is called Lebensborn. And back in the 1960s, I heard of a situation where someone who was in Germany, she was not German, but she was in Germany during World War II, got recruited into Hitler's Lebensborn program and willfully, knowingly, on purpose, in collaboration with and cooperation with Adolf Hitler and the Nazis, actually generated count them four, offspring for the Lebensborn program, which was a eugenics program that Hitler had devised in order to get, people that he thought would be superior and so forth. But this person knew for a fact she was being bred like cattle, and she did it on purpose to get whatever favor she might be getting from the Nazis. And that parent, anybody who willfully, knowingly participated in the Lebensborn program, absolutely could not possibly deserve honor. Some of the kids that were had by those women, and both men and women participated in that program knowingly, used people from Denmark, Sweden, Finland, Norway, Germany, Poland. They used people from North American descent, Northern European descent, rather. Some of those kids were killed. If a child was born looking like it had Down syndrome, it didn't last a day. If a child was born with the wrong skin color, it didn't last a day. They would actually measure the facial features and the distance between interpupillary distance, and they would look at the child and decide whether it was pretty enough or handsome enough to live. The Nazis would kill some of these kids because they weren't good looking enough when they were a day old. If it was born with any kind of obvious disfigurement or any kind of birth defect, these children were killed. You can't tell me a parent who would knowingly and willingly participate in something like that would deserve honor. Honor is earned. It is not ascribed through replication. Another thing I've heard about much more recently, back in the, I think, 1990s in Texas, I heard some people talking about the mafia and how the mafia get people to have kids on purpose. And they say that it's breeding for the cause and generating new recruits. So I've been called, those kinds of parents, the ultimate recruiters, because they are knowingly, willingly generating victims to be used and recruited by the mafia And there's no honor in that. You cannot possibly honor a parent who had you on purpose so that they could hand you to the mob. And how are you going to grow up to be a person of integrity and dignity and honor yourself if you're supposed to be, part of a criminal gang from the get-go? The third kind of parent I would discuss in this really brutal video, because most of us don't go around thinking about these sorts of things most of the time, and neither do I, but it does come up in conversation. Is that there are people who generate offspring for other types of cults and even for scientific research. And I've heard of this, I swear it's true, that I know what I'm about to say is controversial to you people who think that the Ten Commandments and the Christian Bible are sacred and all that, and for the most part, I agree. But when it comes to honor your mother and father, I say that's contingent on whether your mother and father actually deserve that honor. Did they beat you? Did they sexually assault you? Did they psychologically abuse you? Did they stalk you? Did they generate you on purpose for one of the programs that I've talked to? If the answer to any of those questions is yes, you could certainly be forgiven, and you should forgive yourself for not honoring parents of that nature. Did they teach you kindness? Did they teach you compassion? Did they teach you the alphabet and how to read and your numbers and mathematics? Did they teach you sports? Did they teach you how to get along well with other kids? Did they chastise you when you bullied kids? Did they shore up your self-esteem? Did they love you? Then you must honor that. Honor as a parent is earned. It must never be arbitrarily ascribed. More on micropeace studies later.